Hey again, everyone. Thank you for joining me. As you can see, I've cleaned up the space that I'm used to make our content in and cleaned up my act as well a little bit. So, thanks for joining me. If you are, it's much appreciated because there's a lot of people making a lot of content out there, and we are still talking about the narcopath because this is what's kept me sane for the last 10 years is figuring out what they are like and learning how to deal with them if you cannot go no contact. If you can go no contact, please go no contact and don't argue with me about the other videos that I've made, okay? Because I know what I'm talking about. I've been around the block a few times with these narc holes. So anyway, on to that. Um, an old video of another guy that I responded to um, 5 years ago who wasn't taking it anymore. I made a comment that says that you cannot change the narcissist behavior until you change your own. And someone says, well, you just can't change the narcissist behavior. And I disagree. I strongly disagree because you can. Once that you understand how the narcopath behaves, you can behave in certain ways that, look, it's like they read the same playbook, the same really, really simple playbook. They're really not very sophisticated beings. A lot of people give them a lot of power that they don't have, including myself. I've given several of them a lot of power that I didn't have to give them. So you can change the narcissist behavior. The only way that you can change a narcissist behavior is to, and this is advanced stuff, so I don't suggest it. I don't suggest it to someone who doesn't understand the game. If you have to be in constant or any contact with a narcopath, you're going to have to learn how to behave so that they behave. Does that make sense? Even going gray rock is a way to change how the narcissist is going to interact with you. Because if you go gray rock, they're typically going to get bored and go away. What did you just do? You just changed how the narcopath behaves around you, right? Okay, so you can change how they act and react to you. Now, recently, in the last couple of years, I have run across another narcissist, okay? But this one's different. And I'd never experienced this before. I have run into a narcissist that's, believe it or not malignant. They're absolutely a narcopath, but they don't have that hatred in them that the ones like the one that I was married to and the one that I was born to and the other gaggle of narsoles that were around them. Very emotionally violent people who fuck with each other just constantly, and with you, especially with those that will continue to think that we're playing a normal game here, that we're in a normal drama, if you will. So anyway, I've run into one, and like I said, this is advanced stuff. If I mean, obviously, you don't want to be in contact with one if like in a really deep committed situation. I think that would be foolish, especially with what we know now. But if you run across them because there's so many, how do you do it? Well, power. You display power. If there's something that they think, it doesn't mean that you're going to do something and cause you some sort of issues in the future. But if you have the ability and they think that you have the ability to take something away or give them something, if they think that they're going to get something from you, they will behave around you because they're really base people, if we can even call them people. They behave on a real base level about, give me the, basically it's basically give and take. You give and they take. But to continue anyway, so if they think that they can get something from you and you don't even have to state what it is, then you can deal with them, and you can go gray rock sometimes and deal with them at other times. Like I said, this is not 101 stuff. This is beyond, because I've run into some after I had recovered from dealing with the other narcopaths, and I start to notice, I'm like, oh man, I'm having to deal with this person, on a pretty regular basis now. What do I do? And I'm like, did you forget? Did you forget what they're like? Now, I don't, like I said, it depends on the personality. Some people are different. Narcissism is pretty much the same across the board, but there are different people that have on the spectrum of narcissism. Okay. The one that I'm speaking of just simply doesn't care about other people. It's clear, and they just don't. And it doesn't matter how many times that you try to explain it to them what's fair and what's not fair. They're just going to be who they are. So you have to make sure that things are very clear in your mind about how you deal with the narcopath. So you can change them. Like I said, don't get into a, I mean, it would be just stupid to get into a committed relationship with a known narcissist. It was just dumb. But if you have to get in, business deals or something else, they're in a circle of friends. There's some reason you have to be around them. With, excuse me, with this knowledge, you can make sure that you stay relatively safe and sane from one. But it's not, like I said, it's not the. This isn't 101. This is pretty advanced stuff. So anyway, onwards with this conversation. So there's a couple of things besides that I have forgotten to mention for a long time, and I want to kind of talk to you about it now and see what you think. All right. So number one, and this is speaking mostly of the United States, is this too cruel for school thing. It's not 100% narcissism or narcopathy. It is where basically the middle population of the NPCs and the middle management kind of they will even mimic the narcopath's behavior because they think that it works. And it's not working now. It's starting to break down, and they're actually late to the game. But if you notice how people, like even an attitude, a bad attitude, or kind of a verbal pushing other people around, whether it's at the grocery store, at a restaurant or something, you can see that it's made its way into the entire population. It's everywhere. It's everywhere now. And it was facilitated by the people that are influencing our society. That's what's going on. Look, when I started to awaken to the narcissist and the narcissists that are influencing, like in our government and banking and media and all this stuff, it happened at the same time. And it was really weird because as I started to understand what was going on in the big picture, it began to make the narcopath that I was with really uncomfortable. And it's almost as if they had an unwritten rule or unwritten dialogue with the people who were in charge. Because when I started to find these things out and I started to discuss them openly in front of some people, you could see them get really, really nervous. And so when I started to check out from the narcissist way of life, I didn't know they were a narcopath at the time. I didn't even know what that was. I had no idea, but I began to question what was going on around me, and they didn't like it one bit. And I thought, wait a minute, none of us are benefiting, which wasn't true, benefiting from this kind of behavior that we're having to deal with. This is nightmarish stuff that I'm finding out, and none of you seem to care. And these kind of conversations will get you disinvited to Thanksgiving, because when you bring it up at the table, man, everyone looks at you like you're nuts. And maybe I am. Maybe I am crazy, but I'm not stupid. I started to figure it out. And so when you start to figure out what's happening in the big picture, and it's starting to register with the narcissist that they're going to get found out too, they see that you're going to check out. That's when the discard happens. That's when it happened for me, because there had been no changes in anything that I'd done before then. And this is what the behavior, what I was talking about earlier, this behavior can be changed. Because when you start to rock the boat with a narcissist, you'll see that malignant side. Most of them are malignant. Most aren't just like narcopaths, like I mentioned the ones. No, it's a very strange thing to me. I'd never actually experienced it before. But anyway, when you start to behave different, they do behave different. So don't tell me that you cannot change the way a narcissist behaves. Even there's like 5 or 6 things that we'll do. Threatening to expose them is a really big deal. In the midst of some meetings I'd had with some, when I was going to tell something that really wasn't a big deal, it was a big deal to this narcissist. Man, they start to lose it, man. They want you to shut up real quick. And even the things that I don't even understand, the things I don't even have to lie about, but you do, and that's fine, okay? But you have to learn to play the game. This is very advanced stuff. You're going to run into them eventually. Don't get involved with one and don't go marry one or something. I'm not telling you to do that. But when you are dealing with them, sometimes you can go gray rock, and sometimes you can go ahead and interact with them. And sometimes you can do something in between, and you can get, remember, you don't want to play their game and do what they do, but you can be free of their manipulation if you know how they behave. Does that make sense? So anyway, as I was waking up to the narcissist in control of everything and the narcissist that I was married to, things became very, very different for me. And I started to notice some things in the United. I'm not speaking. I don't know where y'all are watching from, but the United States is too cool for school thing, where everybody's just so cool. I'm just so sick of it. It's so gross. This whole, I don't know, this whole, man, just I don't want to say, because I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't know, it gets really stupid out there. So anyway, that, and then I started to notice the things that we're seeing and hearing in the media. This is a big one, okay? So if you know the media, please don't put it down in the comment section. So we're just going to keep it on the topic. So you got to wonder too why we're seeing these storylines that we're seeing and hearing the garbage that we're hearing, because it's gotten progressively worse and worse and worse till it's just unrecognizable noise. And the messages that are in it are very, very violent, very bad in all genres. You got again, I don't want to offend people, but each and every genre has its own kind of trash that they're putting out. And you got to wonder who's benefiting from this. Is this really your story? You got to ask yourself, does that really resonate with you? Really? And if you think about it, that's not your story. It probably isn't. It's some bullshit that they're pushing on you. And you're buying it because you think that that's all there is out there. Thankfully, we do have the internet. You can find other stuff. But the stories, this mainstream stuff that they're still putting out, is really gruesome, really bad news stuff. And it is designed to keep you unhappy. Why do they need you unhappy? Because you're so easy to control when you're unhappy. If you don't need anything and you're happy with whatever limited funds you have, then you're not going to go out there and buy a $65,000 car and have payments for 10 years. You're not going to do that. You're not going to need to level up from the house. You're going to be happy. You're going to be content. You don't need all the shit that they keep shoveling at you. Also, you might be happy in your family. I don't know. They show people, this is what it should be like. This is what he should look like. This is what she should look like. This is what you should have. And you see it and you're bombarded with it all the time, and it keeps you going in circles. Okay. Well, those are narcopaths that are doing that. Who's benefiting? Who benefits from this stuff? Okay. These guys are way, way powerful. Okay. And the NPCs that are out there, they just eat it up. Some of us have awakened to this. The narcopaths are really a section of the NPC. They really are not playable, but you can get past them. Or I hesitate to say the word use, but if they're in your matrix, you may have to keep yourself safe and still get things done. Okay, and we'll just put it like that. But anyway, so you can keep yourself safe from one. You can change people's behaviors. If you have to show your teeth, then that's fine. That's all right. They will probably respect that. If you have to pull rank on a narcopath, that's fine. They'll probably respect that too. Like I said, don't get involved with one, and go marry one just because we know how to deal with them. These are people that you end up having to deal with. And again, if you can go no contact, go no contact. Okay. I'm not telling you to go. The video that I put out, how to win at narcissism. We don't want to win at narcissism. It's how to beat the narc at their own game. You don't want to do that if you don't have to. Don't be stupid. Nobody wants you to go do that. Only an idiot would keep wasting their time, spying on not spying or, keeping tabs on an narcopath who's trying to hurt you. And also too, before I go, I want to say something. Look, be angry as long as you need to, and don't forgive until you're ready. Okay? Be angry as long as you need to, and don't forgive until you're ready. Don't let anybody tell you that you should calm down about what the narcopath's done to you and that you just need to forgive them. I've never heard worse advice in my life. Okay? So whoever it is that's telling you that, whether it's your religion, your teacher, your father, your mother, friends, okay, you go ahead and go through it as long as you need to. Because basically, I can tell you at this point in time, because I was mad for a real long time about what happened. I mean, I was infuriated, and rightfully so. And that fury, that anger is actually there to keep you safe. That's why it's wired in there. It's not something that you want to just throw away. It's very foolish to throw away your anger when you need it. especially if you've got kids with one of these fuckers and you're having to deal with them for, however long you're divorced for 10 years. I was angry the whole time. The moment almost that our oldest kiddo had, turned 18, it calmed down. I didn't need that anger anymore. Okay. But if you're having to deal with one and you're angry, there's a reason why. You got to keep it in check. You can't act on it. You can let it give you wisdom. Okay. So anger does give you wisdom to keep you safe from the narcopath. Okay. And don't let anybody tell you you have to forgive them. Okay. It's probably not time. When you do forgive people and it is time, you'll be way out of their reach, and then it's time to do that, and then you'll do it for yourself. But you may be tangled up with them for a while, and if you are, it's okay to wait that out. Don't want to tell you that. So, all right, well, I'm glad to see y'all again, and I think that's it. All right, I hope to see y'all again real soon. Thanks.